I just asked Curt. I just asked Curt, looking at ourselves on camera, I said, okay, we're going to start. Are you happy with yourself? And he said,
always have been.
And that, in a nutshell, is my husband.
Are you happy with me?
Always happy.
I want to start off about talking about cancer. That surprises you, doesn't it?
Yeah, but let's.
I was thinking this morning about cancer and people's life journeys and why we're here doing what we're doing. I don't know if we ever said this, but several years before we started this, 5 people in our family got diagnosed with cancer. Cory and I just kind of looked at each other and said, you know, he was working at a corporation, and I was working at a, what was I doing at the time?
Appraising.
Maybe a
or not even.
No, I think I was working for Liberty Mutual at the time. So anyway, we said to each other, is this really our life together that we want to have? So people wonder why we did this. That's why we did it. Cancer. It wakes you up and says, you know, I'm so great. I'm making this big, Fortune 500 company money, and I've got to be in here at 8, and I've got to wear a suit, and I've got to do things I don't want to do, and I got to say things I don't want to say, and I have to kiss butts that I don't want to kiss, so I can get further ahead and even work harder. I'm just saying, wake up. There's a life out there. There's beauty out there. There's happiness out there. Stop watching cable news. Stop being on social media. Live your freaking lives and do what makes you happy. It's right in the Constitution, the right to happiness. We all have the right to pursue happiness. And I think we get on this treadmill, and people have used the word treadmill before, but I can't think of a better word, of corporate life and work and stuff. Do what freaking makes you happy.
Well, I was terrified. I didn't know what would be next for me. I knew that I needed to leave what I was doing, but I didn't know what would be next. I had no ideas. And I was like, am I going to leave and just end up doing the same thing, but for another company?
Thinking I'm happier?
Thinking I'm happier, because that would just be me stuck in the same thing. And I didn't want to be stuck there anymore, and I wanted to do something different. So the cancer that we were dealing with with our families was the motivation to say life is short and we really need to get off our asses while we're still healthy enough to do it and young enough to do it and do something different. We had to go out on a limb. Mm-hmm. We really did. And that's what I always tell people. We took a risk.
And, some people do what's called hugging the ground, where you wouldn't do, like what we did. We put every penny that we worked at these corporations, very hard to get, into what we did. And thank goodness it worked out. But there's ways to get to where you want to be. It can't happen tomorrow. Yeah, we did something, we did a 5, 3, and a 1-year plan. And that, once you have that plan and you've written it down, all of a sudden, all your decisions that you make in life all start, well, no, I can't do that because that doesn't fit in my plan. We should do this. This will get us further along on our plan. And that's what we did. We looked at our universe of possibilities, everything that we could use our skill sets on and be happy. And it all came down to, some kind of real estate thing. And then, so we came up, okay, let's do the bed and breakfast gig.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the other big motivator for us was September 11th. Because once that happened, that was the first catalyst for us to say, life is short, we have to do something. And then the family members with cancer all around us, that was the secondary push. And, right after September 11th, people became very home-oriented. And that's when HGTV and the Food Network all started blowing up. Everybody wanted comfort. And so people started watching these shows, and people became interested in cooking and keeping a beautiful home and decorating and everything. And I got really into that vibe. And I became, I became obsessed watching Ina Garten and Paula Deen and Bobby Flay and all these other people. And Curt started watching the HGTV. And we had a home that we had bought shortly after September 11th. And we moved out of Boston proper, and it was this huge home. It was originally a boarding house. And so it had all these rooms, and it was just him and I and our dogs. And I always say that was our dress rehearsal for a guest house, because we would have friends come and stay with us and family come and stay with us. And we had all this space that we didn't really need. And at night we would make martinis and we would crank up the chill music. We'd have candles going. And I always used to think, if only we could do this for a living, if only this could always be our lives and not just our lives on weekends. And so when we finally got to the point where we had to, excuse the expression, but get off the pot, and I said to Curt, well, what about a guest house? What about a bed and breakfast? And he didn't believe that was ever going to happen at first. And I said, no, I really think maybe we should consider this. And he didn't think that I had the courage to leave my job at the time. He said, Cory, you'll never leave the job because you hug the ground. And that ticked me off, because I don't perceive myself that way. And maybe he said that to me because he knew it would tick me off. And I was like, well, oh no, I'm freaking leaving that job. I'm out of there, and we're gonna do something different. There were no more dreams to be had in Boston. So we had to figure out where we were gonna go and what we were gonna do. And we started looking at that point for where would we go? And it was, the places that we loved were New Orleans and Fort Lauderdale and Key West.
And we also thought of Palm Springs.
Which we had never been to.
Maybe Montreal.
But we considered it. Montreal, going back to upstate New York, which is where I'm from, was a possibility. But first and foremost, every time we thought about this, we kept going back to Provincetown.
Because he forgot this part. She's old.
I know what he's going to say. I didn't forget it. I didn't know he wanted to say it.
No, you can say it.
And the thing about Provincetown is that we had just gotten married. Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just became legal in 2004 in Massachusetts, the first state commonwealth in the country, to legalize same-sex marriage. When we considered going anywhere else at that time, it wasn't federally allowed.
Their universe of possibilities is actually an upside down there's a funnel. So, where are you going to be? When you going to do it? What you good at? What you got money for? And all of a sudden, boop, you come up with what you can do.
It was so scary because we really had to take a lot of risks in order to leave Boston and leave our old jobs and our old home, which we loved. We loved our home.
Our forever home.
But we had to say goodbye to it. And so I really encourage you to take risks. I think when people take risks and make big leaps in their lives, that 9 times out of 10, people look back on that and say, I'm glad I did that. It may not work out exactly the way you thought it was going to work out, but it will work out for the better.
But it makes life worth living.
You've got such a short amount of time. Take risks and pursue what you love and marry who you love and do the things that feel fulfilling. It worked for us. We're lucky. Maybe we're just lucky and it worked for us. I don't know. I don't think we were lucky. I think we were smart. I think that we weren't going to let it fail because, damn it, we're Curt and Cory and we're going to make whatever we do successful and work, right? We won't let it fail. It will not fail.
And we got damn close when COVID came. Because
Right.
we're in a discretionary income industry, and COVID was a little severe for us.
It was. So that's another story.
We'll talk about that one later.
Now, when we said, let's do a bed and breakfast, what were your first thoughts?
Oh, I thought, every gay does that. You know, rah, rah, rah. They said, let's do, a gallery, because no. So anyway, we ended up with this, and it wasn't my perfect dream. It was kind of Cory's perfect dream. And when you're married, you make some compromises. There's a great saying somebody once told me, do you want to be married or do you want to be right? I want to be married.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
So anyway, no,
Thank God for that.
It's been, since we've done it, all the angst of all the corporate crap has gone away. I got rid of 11 suits, and my wardrobe now is mainly comprised of shorts and t-shirts, which is great. And flip-flops.
I try to dress a little better than that, but clearly I don't iron.
Yeah. So anyway, it gets better. Don't keep in the grind. Just, get out of it.
You can make your dream come true. You really, really, really can.
And now that I did this, I get guac toast.
I told him that if he would vlog this morning, that I would make him guac.
I'm like a golden...
No, avocado toast for breakfast.
Yeah, I'm like a golden retriever.
Yes.
I do my trick and I get rewarded.
Every time you see Curt on camera right afterwards,
I got something.
He gets a treat. Is that the end, Curt?
Yes, I want my toast now.
Last week, we were getting 7 Central ready. This week, we're getting Charm ready to open.
I better pull that plastic bag back out.